listen, this thought is out there, okay, that parents at home should not be trying to teach kids reading. It's not the parents' responsibility to teach our kids to read. It's 100% the school's responsibility. Parents don't believe that. Not for 1 second, okay? The question is, do you want your child to excel? Or do you want your child to barely be getting by, right? I taught both of my girls how to read before they even went to preschool. The reason I did that is because in education, I came across a lot of kids who struggled so bad in school, both academically and behaviorally, because they couldn't read and they couldn't function independently. So I decided, nope, not my kids. You understand what I'm saying? If you want your child to be ahead of the game, and I say this all the time, and I say this to my students and the parents of the students in my program, they want to be running after the bus or driving the bus, right? Then we need to understand that learning for our kids happen everywhere, okay? Learning doesn't stop at school, and I know you've heard that before, but I'm going to give you some more, okay? I'm going to give you a little bit of how. Reading should be a part of our children's days. Like, they should be reading in school. They should be reading at home. They should be reading recipes while you're cooking. They should be reading the mail. You understand what I'm saying? They should be reading emails. Any chance you get. When you're in the grocery store and you're doing food shopping, you should be pointing to the items or giving them a list of groceries, right? And telling them to find them so that they can put them in a cart so they can be reading. You understand what I'm saying? I've done that with my kids. As a matter of fact, I've had them make the list where I just tell them this is what we need and they write it down. You understand? And now my youngest daughter, who's 8 years old, she helps me in my business and she also helps me in the PTA. She checks my messages, she responds to messages, she checks my emails. It's just, how equipped do you want your child to be? You understand what I'm saying? You have to also understand that, yes, the school's job is to teach your child, right? But your child is not by themselves in the classroom. They're in the class with a bunch of other kids. So the adult to child ratio, you understand, is not in your child's favor. So your child really has to, when they go to school, pay attention, be ready to learn, go with the flow of the class. But as far as customized learning, your child can learn that in school, get benefit from that in school, but also it needs to continue. It needs to continue at home. They need to be reading at home. They should have a library in their house. You understand? In our house, we have so many books. I just cleaned out the basement and I found books that I had forgotten about to add to our library. We have so many books in this house. You understand? Your child should have a library, their own library in their room. They should have books that they're interested in. They should be reading all the time. This is so important. And because this post was about middle school and high school students who get to middle school and high school and they never mastered reading and now they're struggling. They can't really read and they can't really spell. And they struggle when they have to complete assignments. And there's all these backed up assignments and they don't have good study habits. Study is home. All kids need study habits. They're going to learn at school, right? But that study, that independent study, happens at home. So we need to teach our kids from young that there's a certain time during the day, every day, where they sit down and they study, they read, they write. This is what I recommend. Read for a period of time. Sorry, I have a meeting to jump into now. Read for a period of time. Write for a period of time. There you go. Read for a period of time, right? Right? They should have a writing prompt. Get a fish bowl, right? Come up with a bunch of writing prompts. You and your child together. Let them write them down. Crumple them up. Throw them in a fish bowl. Every day, shake it up a little bit. Pick one out. Write for 10 minutes. You understand what I'm saying? Every day, they should be For a period of time, they should be sitting down. They should be reading. They should be writing. They should be working on words, spelling. You understand? They should be working on practicing multiplication tables. They should be every day, because this is how they get strong. And this is my mindset around this. We want to equip our children so that when they go into school, they can handle anything the teacher throws at them. So guess what? This is what I said before. Whose job is it to raise our children? I asked before in another post. But how about this? Whose job is it to teach our children? It's all of our jobs, especially if we connect. If I connect with my child's teacher and we both talk about what we want them to learn, what I want my child to learn, and I can complement what the teacher is teaching at school. It doesn't have to take a lot of time. Listen, we know with parents, we work, we have our businesses, we have a lot going on. It doesn't take a lot of time. All right? It could take 30 minutes. It could be something that you do regularly that you could be in there cooking. And instead of your child asking for a snack every 5 minutes and throwing around the kitchen, you understand what I'm saying? I'm talking from experience. I'm a mom. You can have your child sit down at the table and practice their times tables, or sit down with a book and read aloud to you while you're cooking. It doesn't take a lot. But I'm telling you, every day our kids need to be, that's individual, independent growth from home. But it's theirs. And they take ownership of it. And then when they go into school, then they are much better students. So do not believe this. You understand me? Do not believe that our kids cannot, or it's not our job at all to teach our children. It's 100% the school's job, and that we shouldn't be taking any of the load. Are you serious? I try to be as impartial as possible when I talk to y'all. But this is craziness coming from a mother. Listen, I've been teaching and I've been helping kids improve behavior and learning for over 20 years, okay? But I'm also a mom, and I'm so passionate about my kids' learning and education. I've been teaching them at home because I'm so passionate about that, and I wanted them to be comfortable in school. I didn't want them to be struggling. Because a lot of times when you catch it in school, and then they put their interventions in place, you understand? If they had a parent also working with them, the growth and success will happen so much faster. And that's what we're going to do. So don't believe this. Don't believe this mess for a second, y'all. All right? Don't let anybody tell you that mess. You ask yourself, I'm going to tell parents right now, ask yourself, what do you want your child to get better at this year? Write it down, and write 2 or 3 things that you want your child to practice every day at home. Practice it. Listen, there are a lot of kids who are struggling readers, but also who don't read every day. The only way they get better at reading is if they're reading aloud and they are conquering those tough words. And when they conquer a tough word, they read the sentence again. And then the next day they read it again and move on to the next. You understand what I'm saying? There are too many kids who are not reading every day. So do not believe this right here. Okay? I don't usually put people's posts, comments up and talk about, but this right here, this kind of nonsense got to stop. We all together. It's all of our jobs. They're all our babies. You understand what I'm saying? My kids are my babies. My students are my babies too. And their parents are my BFFs. That's what I tell them. That's why I tell my students. You know me and your mama my BFF, right? You understand what I'm saying? This is so important. So don't believe this for a second. And those of you who want your kids to accelerate this year, let's start talking about little things we can do at home to help get them there. And also hold them more accountable. They have to work. They have to sit down and do the work. They have to have a pencil and a notebook and be writing. They have to do it. Let's make them work, because from work comes growth. All right, y'all. I love y'all so much. Believe in yourself. Believe in your kids and your students. And always remember that growth is unlimited, and we got this. Peace.